Hello, this is Pastor Otterstetter speaking. This PowerPoint presentation is intended to update you on the renovation projects that we are undertaking here at St. John. We plan to replace the sanctuary roof. We plan to do tuck pointing on our building, and I'll explain that in more detail in just a moment. We plan to replace some of the doors as needed, some of the exterior doors, and the louvers in the bell tower. And I will talk about that also in just a moment. St. John Lutheran Church has been blessed to be at this location for almost 60 years. This building constructed in 1954. The Minnesota winters, the wind, the weather, and the rain have taken their toll on this facility. We believe that it's time to make necessary repairs and improvements. Let's talk about the sanctuary roof, first of all. This is a picture of Faith Lutheran Church in Medelia, Minnesota. They had a roof that was very similar to ours. That roof was then removed, and a layer of insulation was put down, and then a layer of plywood. This slide provides an up-close picture of what that insulation looks like and the plywood covering it. If we put down the insulation that we have decided to use, we would increase our insulation factor by 25 times. So we will definitely see a reduction in heating and air conditioning costs. After the insulation and the plywood are put down, then there's a membrane that looks like this. And in the bottom 6 feet of the roof, there's ice and water guard installed. You see these are metal shingles being put down. We believe that this is the best option for our church. They last longer than the asphalt shingles. They're more resistant to wind and hail damage. So we believe, even though they're a little more expensive, that this is the way to go. You can go from something like this, again, Faith Lutheran Church in Medelia, this is their old roof, to something like this. And this is what we'd like to see here at St. John on our sanctuary. Now let's talk about tuck pointing. First of all, a tuck pointing company will come and power wash the entire building and inspect it for any cracks in the mortar or any deterioration in the Kasota stone on our building. Obviously, this church in the picture is a brick church. After that inspection, the mortar joints where there is cracking and crumbling, those are sandblasted out, ground out, chipped away, and then replaced. Do we need tuck pointing at St. John? This is a picture of a couple of the Kasota stones on top of the bell tower. You can see they've cracked almost in half and deteriorated. This is another example. Above the entryway of the sanctuary, you see one of the precast concrete lintels holding up those 3 windows in the balcony. The paint has flaked away and is faded. We'd like that to be sandblasted and repainted. I'll talk about that in a moment as well. And between the center window and the window that you see to your right, there's a big hole in the Kasota stone. That too would be chipped out and replaced. And then down toward the top of the arch, you see some additional crumbling on the Kasota stone. Also, there are cracks throughout the building. We'd like those to be chipped away and resealed, refilled. On the west side of the building, there are 2 small overhanging roofs over the service doors. And those doors, or those roofs rather, have crumbled and deteriorated, as you can see, especially in the picture to the top left. Those would be cleaned off and then sealed with a colored metal roof, a small roof on top of that roof. This is what the precast concrete could look like. We're not saying it would be this color necessarily, and this is obviously a different church with a brick versus the Kasota stone, but very similar in design to ours, and we'd like to see that precast concrete sandblasted away and repainted. This is what the entryway could look like. This is Concordia Lutheran, another church building, but they have a similar arch to what we have here at St. John, so that would be sandblasted and repainted. Let's talk about the bell tower louvers. Over the last nearly 60 years, they have received upkeep and care, but they've now rotted to the point where they need to be replaced. We would like to see something like this. This is a metal louver with a vinyl clip on the end to give it the illusion or the look of depth. Again, from the ground, from a distance, you won't see any difference. It'll just look a lot cleaner and nicer. And being metal and vinyl won't need as much or won't need any maintenance. This is another example of the work this company does. Briefly then, to talk about the church doors. This is a picture of the door on the west side of the bell tower. Again, it has rusted and deteriorated to the point where it's no longer sealing in the weather and often hangs up, doesn't open properly. This is a picture of the front doors. The threshold has come loose and is rusty. The door frame is rusted quite heavily, and the doors don't seal properly. The doors on the top of the handicap ramp are quite a bit newer, but we would like to install a handicap accessible door system, a power assist where someone could push a button and the door would open automatically, and they would also then seal properly as well. How much do these renovation projects cost? The roofing project is $95,302. Tuckpointing, $38,587. Door replacement is over $11,000. We had to get a revised bid on that. We're still waiting on it. And the bell tower louvers, $14,860. So a total of nearly $160,000. We realize this is a great deal of money. What's next? We ask for your prayers. Continue to pray for God's blessing on our congregation first and foremost, and on the proclamation of His Word, and then on this project. Consider making a special offering, a financial offering toward these renovation projects. This would need to be in addition to your regular proportionate and joyful offering. If necessary, we could approve some internal financing to complete these projects and then pay it back over a number of years. When will the work begin? Everybody wants to know that. We have the roofers coming the end of May, early June, so very, very soon. And that's why we're wanting to update you on this project and also ask for your financial support of it. St. John has been here for, again, nearly 60 years. We thank God for the blessing of our sanctuary, our building, a place for worship and fellowship. Now we want to do work on that to preserve it for the future and to make a statement also to our community that we care for our place of worship. Thank you for your time, and may God bless our congregation as we gather around Word and Sacrament and as we share that precious, life-giving gospel with our community. God's grace and peace to you.